Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. In this one here, we're going to cover a deck that's still very, very relevant as one of the top deck in the format as a counter to it. And for those that don't know, the top deck in the format right now to beat is Lugias V-Star with Archeops. As last weekend, Tord Reklev won the Latin America International Championship with it, and actually most of the whole tournament had that. I think it was, I don't know the percentage, but I think it probably around that 80% mark. The people in it were playing Lugia, which is absolutely insane. It's literally Mew VMAX all over again, as if it were Fusion Strike. And yeah, it's the deck to beat. So for those that don't know as well, I think the top three decks of that tournament were obviously Lugias V-Star, and then number 2 and 3. I'm not too sure how many of each were in the top cut, but I do believe it was, or it is, Lost Box, right? So Lost Zone Sableye, one Lost Zone Comfy. And their engines, that go with it, the Cramorant, the Charizard, etc., and the Greninja, as well as Mew VMAX, right? Those are the top 3 decks currently. And this deck, it doesn't quite counter some of them, but it with weakness, but it does enough damage to get the job done. And it is actually a direct counter to Lugias V-Star, and the deck that I'm talking about is none other than Regigigas, the Regi deck. And I just wanted to go over the deck profile. So we have, to start, 3 Regigigas. We have 3 Regieleki, 2 of Evolving Skies, and then 1 of Astral Radiance. And then we have 2 Regidrago from Astral Radiance, 2 Registeel from Astral Radiance, 2 Regirock from Astral Radiance, and then 2 Registeel from Astral Radiance. So Regigigas is the card the whole deck is built around, right? It's there with that Ancient Wisdom ability. Once during your turn, if you have Regirock, Ice, Steel, Eleki, and Drago in play, you may attach up to 3 energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So that's any of them. So you're going to be trying to have a full bench every single game with one of each of these guys out there. All right, so it's an awesome ability. That's retreat cost. And HP and resistance and weakness are, pretty much average. Right, but its attack there, Gigaton Break, does 150. And if your opponent's active is a Pokemon VMAX, it does 150 more damage, right? So that's really good, as when you combo it with a Choice Belt, you're able to one-shot that Mew VMAX and one-shot the other VMAX that's mostly being played right now, which is Kyurem VMAX. Then we have the Regieleki. So this is the Lugia counter, and it counters it just by typing. And it's the reason why Lugias V-Star plays Dunsparce, right? So that is a problem, right? The Evolving Skies one there has 120 HP, 2 retreat cost, no resistance and weakness to fighting, which is a good weakness to have, just like the Regigigas. That's first attack Status Shot for 20, and then the second attack 2 Lightning and a Colorless Terra Spark for 120. Discard all Lightning, and then do 40 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And that's also another reason why they play Manaphy, to protect their bench. Right? So that's pretty good. And then they have the other one here, the Astral Radiance one. Right, so the Astral Radiance one there has 130 HP, which is 10 more. So it actually does protect you against amazing rare Raiku's attack there. Protects you by 10 HP from getting knocked out. 3 retreat costs, which is 1 more than the Evolving Skies one, which is really odd because, you know, of how fast it is in the game, so it shouldn't have a that high of a retreat cost. Same resistance and same weakness, which is good. Electromagnetic sonar, its attack there for a colorless. Put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. Really good. And then its second attack there, for 2 lightning and a colorless targeted bolt. Discard 2 lightning energy from this Pokemon, and then do 120 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So really, really good attack there. Then you have the Regidrago there. So no weakness, no resistance, 3 retreat, which is, you know, I think pretty standard for Regidrago. 130 HP, so once again it protects you from that amazing rare Raikou. And then its ability there, Dragon's Horde. Once during a turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may draw cards until you have 4 in your hand, which is really good because you are going to have a low hand size generally with this deck. Right, you are going to run out of cards. So that's really good to refresh. And then its attack there for Grass, Fire, Colorless. Giant Fangs does 160. So that's pretty good as it knocks out a lot of single prizers, if not all of them. And then you can play the Evolving Skies one if you want, right? It's the one that does 240, and then it's like minus 20 for every damage counter on it, right? You could do that. That's a high damage output, which is really good. It just depends on what you want to do with it, right? Regiice there, it's a water type. 3 retreat, no resistance and weakness to metal, which is actually a pretty good weakness to have as metal is not being played currently. Yeah, it's attack there, Regigate. So Ice, Rock, and Steel have the same attack there. Regigate, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench. And then shuffle your deck. So that's really good. And then its second attack there for 2 water and a colorless Blizzard Bind. Does 100, and if the defending Pokemon is a Pokemon V, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. So this is a great stall card, right? In some decks, you know, you actually want to promote this and attack with it, right? Regirock there. So same HP as Regiice and Regidrago. 3 retreat, no resistance, weakness to grass. Right, so another really good weakness to have in this format, as grass isn't really being played a whole lot. The first attack I covered, and then the second attack for 2 fighting and a colorless. Giga Impact does 140, and then during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. So it's great at hitting fighting weak types, like Arceus, right? And can also do work against, if anybody's playing that Regieleki VMAX that just came out in Silver Tempest. Registeel there, so same HP, right? Retreat cost is 3, resistance to grass, which is not really useful at all, right? And then weakness to fire, right? Which is, again, another really good weakness to have right now, as there's not a lot of fire types that are being played. The one that comes to mind is Radiant Charizard, but weakness doesn't really matter with that because it one-shots any of your Regis, regardless of weakness, right? First attack there I covered as well, and then its second attack, Heavy Slam, it does 220, and then this attack does 50 damage. Pardon me, it does 50 less damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So the thing that's really good with this card, right, is this can knock out Mew Vs, right, which I think have 180 or 190 HP, right? That's really, really good, right? So you can just boss his orders or Serena on a Mew V and then just attack with this and knock it out. Another really cool thing that you can do is, I believe Lumineon V has 170 HP and it has 1 retreat cost, so it does that, it knocks that out as well, right? It does that perfect 170, because it's got 220 minus 50. And that is the Pokemon of the deck. That is the Regis. This is probably like one of the coolest decks, you know, in the history of the game. Like all the Regis together, right? That's absolutely awesome. And now we're going to go into the trainers, supporters, and stadium cards. So with those, right, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and it's, you know, all about preference. But for supporters, we do have the best draw card in the game in 4 Professor's Research, the second best and 3 Marnie. We do have 2 Serena to follow a single boss's orders. And then we have 4 Path to the Peak. So, I'm actually pretty happy with this lineup, right? Maybe the 2 things that you could do, right, if you wanted, would maybe subtract a Marnie and put in a Roxanne. That's an option. Or the other one you can do is you can minus 1 Serena and put in 1 boss's orders, right? Serena is really good on single prize decks, right? Which is, you know, Lost Box, right? Lost Zone, Sableye, and Comfey, right? A lot of single prizes in there, or other Regis as well. So that there you can play with depending on your meta. But 4 Professor's Research is a staple, and then at least 2 Marnie is a staple. You know, and 1 Serena, 1 boss is a staple, with that third going to either or depending on the meta. A 4 Path to the Peak, the best stadium in the game. Shut off all your opponent's abilities for Pokemon that have a rule box. Right? It means they have no abilities, which is awesome. Great at countering that Summoning Star ability, or that Fusion Strike system, right? Or that Starbirth or Star Portal, whatever you want. That's it for the supporters in the stadiums, and then on to the trainer cards. So the trainer cards, once again, is it's pretty standard. Best Pokemon searcher here in the game, and 4 Quick Ball. We have 3 Choice Belts, right? Another really good card. I find 3 is actually a really good number. 3 Ordinary Rod. 3 Scoop Up Net. 3 Trekking Shoes. 2 Ultra Ball. And then 1 each of Air Balloon and Hisuian Heavy Ball. So Quick Ball, discard a card, search for a basic. Choice Belt, plus 30 to your opponent's active V. Ordinary Rod, choose 1 or both. Shuffle 2 Pokemon from your discard into your deck, or 2 basic energy cards. You don't have basic energy in here, so the first option is what you do. Scoop Up Net is really good to reuse abilities like Regigigas' Ancient Wisdom or Regidrago's Dragon's Horde. Trekking Shoes, not news, is to dig through your deck, right, to find cards that you need, right? So if you're all set up, right, and a Quick Ball, you know, comes off a Trekking Shoes, you know, you don't need that card, right? So you just discard it. Ultra Ball, another search option, right? All the other balls don't really work with this. You know, Level Ball doesn't work. Feather Ball doesn't work, right? You could play Great Ball, but I'd rather just, you know, have that for sure search. Air Balloon, 2 less retreat, which is awesome. And then Hisuian Heavy Ball allows you to get your Regis and your prizes. So if you have 2, right, of the same 1 prize, that's great to get, right? And then, yeah, obviously, you know, we don't play the same counts of the Regis. Some we play 3, some we play 2. That's going to be more useful on a 2 of. And that is it for the trainer cards. So lastly, we're on to the energy, right? And the energy, I'm actually very, very pleased with. It's probably the best energy setup of the of this deck. You know, and it's practically the same. You know, a lot of people are running this exact lineup just because of how good it is. But we do have 4 Aura energy, 2 Capture energy, 2 Gift energy, and then lastly 2 Speed Lightning energy and a 2 Twin energy, pardon me. So this here is a really good lineup. There's 12 energy. 12 is a solid number. You could play 13, you could play 11, right? But generally 12 for this deck is the perfect number. Aura energy, you need to play 4 because of all the different types that you have in the deck, right? And it provides all of those types. Capture just makes the deck more consistent as it searches out our Regis. Gift energy, when it's knocked out, when the Pokemon that it's attached to is knocked out, you draw cards until you have 7 in your hand. So really awesome recovery card, and it's like pretty much having like an extra 2 research in the deck. 2 Speed Lightning energy, right? When you attach it to a Lightning Pokemon, draw 2 cards, which is awesome. It's more draw. And, you know, obviously with Regieleki, you know, we play 3 of them. We play 3 because it's, you know, a main attacker of the deck, right? Because of all the Lugia that's going on. Really, really good card. And then Twin energy, it increases your energy count by 2, right? Provides 2 energies. So it's great at powering up Regigigas. And that is it. That is the deck, everybody. So this is, you know, it's not my favorite deck to play. I find that it can brick insanely hard, right? But I think overall it's a pretty good deck to play in a tournament, right? And I would definitely take it to a tournament, and you know, I could probably do well with it. The only problem that I would have with this deck is how much it bricks, meaning how many dead draws you can draw with the deck. But when it's running and it's running perfectly, you'll do extremely, extremely well. One thing that's kind of annoying is to deal with is Collapsed Stadium, right? Which Lugia V-Star plays, right? They will typically play 2 of that, right? Just to counter the Lightning, and it's actually an insanely good counter because when they knock out your Regi and they, you know, after they played that Collapsed Stadium, that means you have to find 2 Regis. You have to find 2 Regis. You have to respond KO, which they'll likely have a Dunsparce for. So you won't be able to respond KO. Right? And then they'll just knock out that Regi. So that puts you down, you know, 3 Regis in like basically like 2 turns, right? And it's just insanely hard to deal with. So you might, I don't know, you might want to try something else. You might want to put like a tech in or something, like a tech basic. You know, maybe Amazing Rare Raikou and Thornton in here, or you know, something that can shut off that Dunsparce and Manaphy on the bench, right? I don't know, but yeah, Lugia V-Star is the hardest matchup. Mew is actually probably an easier matchup than Lugia V-Star, as all you need to do is just attach a choice belt to Regigigas and knock out 2 Mew VMAX for game. Right, and then it's got Path to the Peak. They play 4 Path to the Peak. They play Lost City, which is why we play 3 Regigigas. Right? So when they get knocked out, you still have 1, and you should still be able to get that prize trade. Versus the other decks, you know, I think the other decks are probably about 50-50, right? It all depends on starts, like Lost Zone Box, Palkia Kyurem again. You know, you're trading, I think the prize trade is pretty good, but, you know, it depends, like, it depends on who sets up first, right? If they're able to set up first and you're still having trouble setting up, they will probably eventually take the prize trade on you. right? But if you're able to respond KO on that Kyurem, right, or boss or Serena that Kyurem VMAX up and then knock it out with Registeel, right, and then respond KO the following turn if they knock you out with a Palkia with the Regieleki, right? Easy game, easy game. And I think that's pretty much everything. But Palkia and Teleon. Once again, it's the weakness to Lightning hurts them. Their Palkia is the only attacker in the deck, right? They can attack with Inteleon if they want to, right? But generally, Palkia is the only attacker, so you should be able to win that pretty easily. Giratina is going to probably a 50-50 as well, right? You don't have the power to one-shot Giratina. You have to two-shot it, right? The Cramorants, you can knock out, right? But they'll probably try to set up, with the Cramorant damage, right? The 110, 110, 110, and then just clean up with Sableye when they have a big enough loss zone. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. So there you go, everybody. This is the Regigigas deck on Deck Profile Friday. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the video. And if you like what you're hearing and seeing, then leave a like and comment and consider subscribing to the channel, as I'm always trying to produce content for you guys and girls. And yeah, this is Deck Profile Friday, so I'll cover a deck for pretty much any format, Sword and Shield onwards, or even a format like base set only, and just go through the ins and outs of how it works. Sundays are opening Sundays, so I'll open up a Pokemon TCG product, give you my thoughts on it, my likes, dislike, etc. And then Wednesdays are Gameplay Wednesdays, so that will be me on Pokemon TCG Online playing games, right? And just kind of showing decks off and how to play them, right? Occasionally I'll do an in-person game and kind of show that off, but yeah, it just depends when I can kind of get together with the peeps and organize something like that. So, well, there you go. Thank you so much for watching this video, and once again, see ya in the next video.